Assertion: kidney maintain the osmotic concentration of blood. Reason: kidney eliminate either hypotonic or hypertonic urine according to the need of the body. So kidney plays an essential role in maintaining concentration and osmotic pressure, which is known as osmoconcentration of blood. When water intake of an animal is very high, urine excreted has to be hypotonic, that is dilute and lower in osmotic pressure than blood plasma in order to remove excess of water. Contrary to this, when there is a threat of excessive water loss from the body, the urine needs to be hypertonic, more concentrated and higher in osmotic pressure than blood plasma to reduce the loss of water with urine. In this way, osmoconcentration of blood is maintained. So kidney maintain osmotic concentration is true. Kidney eliminates either hypotonic or hypertonic urine during the need of the body, which is the correct reason for the given assertion. So assertion is Whittaker's classification of algae is not acceptable. Reason: Whittaker grouped algae in different kingdom. So in Whittaker's classification, he classified all the animals or the species into 5 kingdom. Haeckel classified all the species into 3 kingdom. The most acceptable was Whittaker's 5 kingdom classification. So in Whittaker's classification, algae are grouped in 3 kingdoms: Monera, which includes blue green algae, along with cyanobacteria; Protista, which includes dinoflagellates, diatoms, euglenoids, and Plantae, kingdom Plantae, which includes red algae, brown algae, and green algae. Erythrophyceae, Phaeophyceae, etc. Though plants kingdom of Whittaker is often called metaphyta or metaphytes or multicellular plants, the algae included in this kingdom also contain a number of unicellular and colonial forms. So these are contradictory statements. The most accepted classification of algae is given by Fritz. He classified all algae into 11 classes. So Fritz's classification of algae is important. So the assertion and reason are correct. Assertion is true and reason is the correct explanation for the assertion. Assertion: only red algae are able to flourish at the great depth of sea. Reason: red algae has the pigment phycoerythrin and phycocyanin. Red algae flourish and occur in abundance at great depth of sea, where other plants do not occur in abundance. The sunlight, as it penetrates water, portion of spectrum such as red, orange, yellow and green light rays, which are of short wavelength, are filtered out. Only blue and violet rays of great wavelength remain and penetrate the great depth. The green pigment chlorophyll cannot trap these light rays of great wavelength, and the green plant are thus unable to carry on photosynthesis at this depth. So there is no photosynthesis. On the other hand, the red pigment, which is phycoerythrin, and blue pigment phycocyanin, which are characteristics pigment of red algae, can utilize wavelength of light blue and violet color and are not absorbed by chlorophyll. Hence, assertion is true, reason is the correct reason for assertion. Assertion: reduction division occurs in anaphase 1, so there is no need of meiosis here. Reason: meiosis 2 occur to separate homologous chromosomes. So anaphase 1 involves separation of homologs or homologous chromosomes into different daughter cells. So meiosis 1 is a reductional division, but each chromosome is still formed of two sister chromatids joined at a common centromere. So anaphase 1 result in reduction in number of chromosomes, but each chromosome is double amount of DNA. So meiosis 2 occur during which chromatids of chromosome separates. Into different cells. Main aim of meiosis 2 is to separate genetically modified chromatids of each homologous chromosomes formed during crossing over in meiosis 1. So assertion is true, reason is true, but not the correct reason for the given assertion. Assertion: birds have no mammary glands. Reason: pigeon secretes pigeon's milk. Though pigeons does not have mammary glands, as they belong to class aves and not mammals. So having mammary gland is the characteristics of mammals to feed the young ones. Milk is secreted by them as well. The pigeons are oviparous. The eggs are laid in the nest and are incubated by warmth of parent's body. Hatching occur after a fortnight. The immature, helpless, and featherless young ones are nourished by parents by a fatty curd secretion, that is the pigeon's milk, which is secreted in their crop. Crop is a part of digestive system of pigeon. The parental care and homing instinct are well developed in these pigeons. So assertion: birds have no mammary glands because they belong to class aves, which is true, and pigeon secretes pigeon's milk, which is also true, but it is not the reason for assertion. Assertion is: verticalista is a cymos inflorescence. Reason: the main axis and lateral branches of inflorescence end in flower. See, cymos inflorescence is the name of determinate or definite inflorescence in which tip of main axis terminates into a flower and further growth continues by one more lateral branches, which also behaves like main axis. Verticalista is a special form of cymos inflorescence. The first axis ends in a flower. It bears two lateral branches. Each branches end in a flower. Succeeding lateral branches are produced in an alternating manner. Another type of inflorescence which is observed is racemose inflorescence. In racemose inflorescence, we can see acropetal succession, and in cymose inflorescence we can see basipetal appearance or succession. So here the Velicaster is a cymose inflorescence. The main axis of lateral branches and in flower. Both are true and is the correct reason. So option A is the correct answer. Assertion is China rose and rose both bear stipules. Reason, they are of adnate types. China rose has free lateral stipules. And rose bears adnate stipules. Free lateral stipules are free stipules, usually small and green in color, borne on the two sides of leaf base. Adnate stipules are two lateral stipules that grow along the petiole up to a certain height, adhering to it and making it somewhat winged in appearance. So China rose and rose both bear stipules is correct answer. Both are adnate types is the wrong statement. Only rose is of adnate type. China rose has lateral stipules. So C is the correct answer. So our next question is, male ascaris is differentiable from female ascaris in A. Presence of postanal papillae, B. Presence of preanal papillae, C. Presence of penile setae, D. All of the above. So male ascaris is differentiable from female ascaris. Tail end. Tail end of male ascaris is characterized by presence of numerous genital papillae. These papillae can be seen on ventral surface, there are 50 pairs of preanal papillae in front of cloaca and 5 pairs of postanal behind the anus. Sometimes two chitinous spiculate process of equal size are seen protruding out of cloacal aperture. These are called penile setae or spicules, which serve to transfer sperm into the vagina during copulation. Copulation is the act of putting the male genital organ into the female part. So option D is the correct answer. So our next question is, assertion enzyme substrate complex remains throughout the reaction. Reason, the greater the affinity of the enzyme for substrate, higher is the catalytic activity. See, enzyme substrate complex is short lived. The substrate is changed into product, and the product remain complex with active state of the enzyme. For a brief period, they soon separate and the active site is free to perform another catalytic activity. So enzyme activity depends upon affinity of substrate. If turnover number of substrate is higher, then enzymes show high affinity towards substrate. The number of substrate molecules changed per minute by a molecule or enzyme is known as turnover number. So assertion is false, but the reason is correct statement. So E is the correct answer. So the next question is assertion. Desmolizing enzymes are those which catalyze the reaction of hydrolysis. Reason: digestive enzymes are hydrolyzing in nature. So desmolizing enzymes are those which catalyze reaction by other methods other than hydrolysis, like aldolysis, dehydrogenases, oxidases, etc. The digestive enzyme function by catalyzing hydrolysis, which is true. So large molecules are broken into smaller ones. They are grouped into three types. Number one, proteolytics, which break protein molecule. The next type is amylolytic, which breaks sugar molecules, and the third is lipolytic, which obviously break lipid molecule. So desmolizing enzymes are those which does not belong to hydrolysis. So assertion is false statement and the reason is true. The digestive enzyme belong to hydrolyzing in nature. So E is the correct answer. So our next question is assertion. A simple leaf has undivided lamina. Reason: leaf showing pinnate and palmate venation have various type of incisions. So a leaf having a single or undivided lamina is called simple leaf, and the leaf which has divided or various lamina which are known as compound leaf. So the lamina have different types of incisions which may reach up to half or more than half or near the base or midrib, depending upon pinnate or palmate venation. The incisions are known as pinnatified, fid is a suffix used when it is half, sect when it is midrib, and partite is used when it is half. So pinnatified, palmatified, or pinnatipartite, palmately partite, then comes pinnatisect, palmatisect. So assertion is simple leaf undivided lamina is true, and the leaf showing pinnate and palmate venation have various type of incision, which is also true but not the correct reason. Assertion is C4 pathway is more efficient than C3 pathway. Reason: photorespiration is suppressed in C4 plants. So for photosynthesis there are two pathways, C3 pathway and C4 pathway. It is named so because C3 is also known as tricarboxylic acid, or because the first product so formed is citric acid, which is 3 carbon compound, and here the fourth carbon compound oxaloacetic acid, which is the first stable product in this cycle. So C4 photosynthetic pathway is more efficient than C3 pathway, as C4 plants can pick up carbon dioxide even when it is found in low concentration. PEP, that is PP enzyme, shows high affinity phosphoenol pyruvate for carbon dioxide. So C4 plants contain two types of chloroplast, which is called Cran's anatomy: bundle sheath and mesophyll chloroplast. So bundle sheath cells contain Calvin cycle, that is C3 cycle or Calvin cycle enzymes. Due to high concentration of carbon dioxide in bundle sheath cells, RUBP carboxylase works only for Calvin cycle and not for photorespiration. Photorespiration is a wasteful process because as it works to undo the act of photosynthesis in C4 plants, no energy rich compound is produced. When temperature increases more and more, photosynthetically fixed carbon is lost by photorespiration, thus reducing the efficiency of C3 plants. So your assertion is true and reason is the correct for the given assertion. Sodium and potassium pump is found in a membrane of many cells like nerve cell. It works against electrochemical gradient and involve an integral protein ATPase. For each molecule of ATP used, option A, 3 ions of sodium are pumped out and 2 potassium are taken in. B, 3 sodium are taken in and 2 potassium are pumped out. C, 2 ions of sodium are thrown out and 3 potassium are absorbed. D, 3 ions of potassium are absorbed and 3 sodium are pumped out. So, energy from ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, cause conformational change in solute carrier complex. From energy of 1 ATP, 3 sodium ions are pumped outside and 2 potassium are taken inside. This process of expelling out sodium ions and drawing in potassium ion against the concentration gradient in chemical gradient is called sodium potassium exchange pump of the cell. So if this is the membrane, this is the carrier protein on which here is sodium and here is potassium. So sodium are pumped outside and potassium are taken inside through conformational changes. This pump operates by involving the sodium potassium ATPase enzyme located in the cell membrane. Such electrogenic pump develop positive charge outside the membrane and negative charge interior of the cell. This difference in charge on either side of the membrane of a resting neuron is the resting membrane potential, which is also known as RMP, which is equal to minus 90 millivolt. It is different for different fibers, that is nerve fiber, muscle fiber, different types of nerve fiber, it is different. So option A is the correct answer. Which of the following is a transparent tissue? A, tendon, B, ligament, C, fibrous cartilage, D, hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage is the most abundant kind of cartilage with no fibers and transparent matrix. It is found open articular surfaces at joints of long bones and from articular cartilage, costal cartilage, at the ventral ends of the ribs. It helps to form the nose, the larynx, trachea, bronchi, and bronchial tubes leading to the lungs. Fibrocartilage carries thick, dense bundle of white collagen fiber in matrix. They are strongest cartilage. They occur in joint between vertebrae and also in pubic symphysis. Tendon is a very dense, strong, fibrous connective tissue made of collagen fiber. Tendon connect a skeletal muscle to the bone, whereas ligament connect bone to a bone. So option D is the correct answer. Secondary growth is absent in A. Hydrophytes, B. Mesophytes, C. Halophytes, D. Xerophytes. Secondary growth is the one in which there is presence of cambium. So it can be explained from the following diagram. There are cells here which are phloem. These forms phloderm and phloem. So the generating cells in the line, these are known as phloem. These phloem forms phloem or secondary cortex outside or phloderm inside. So this is secondary cortex and cork cambium. These three together is known as periderm. This type of secondary growth is not seen in hydrophyte plant. Hydrophyte like Acornia, there is absence of cambium. There is only primary tissue present, that is xylem and phloem. So option A is the correct answer. Assertion: in floating aquatic plants, root cap are absent. Reason: root pockets are present in aquatic plants. So root cap protect the root meristem from friction. It protects from friction of soil particles present. In this process, its outer cells are continuously peeled off and replaced by new cells formed from root meristem. As there are three layers of the root: layer of root cap, layer of cell division, layer of cell elongation, and then comes the layer of cell maturation. In floating aquatic plants, the root apices possess finger glove like covering. These covering are called root pockets instead of root cap. So option A, assertion in floating aquatic of root caps is true statement and root pockets are present in aquatic plant is also a correct statement, but B is not the correct option, correct explanation for assertion. Assertion: female has less stature than male after puberty. Reason: this happens because of presence of HCG in the blood of female. So males have more stature than female. More stature than females. Because of action of male sex hormone testosterone, which is secreted by testes in males, most precisely cells of Leydig. Body starts secreting testosterone from the age of puberty. Its secretion is under the influence of LH, which is luteinizing hormone, of the development anterior lobe of the pituitary gland. So testosterone controls the development of secondary sexual characters in males like hoarseness of voice, development of facial hair, growth, calcium retention, closing of epiphyseal cartilage. The total quantity of bone matrix increases. The pelvic outlet is narrowed. The strength of the pubic bone increases to carry out more loads. This is why male have more stature than female after puberty when this hormone is present in the blood. HCG, which is human chorionic gonadotropin, is secreted by human placenta, female placenta during pregnancy. HCG enlarges the corpus luteum in the mother's ovary and stimulates to secrete progesterone. So C is the correct answer. Assertion: prolactin is also called milk ejection hormone. Reason: prolactin stimulates the smooth muscle contractions of the mammary gland. So it is not prolactin but oxytocin hormone, also known as milk ejection hormone, because it causes milk ejection reflex. It acts on myoepithelial cell of mammary glands. Because oxytocin induces contraction of the mammary gland muscles, help in flow of stored milk from mammary glands to the mouth of suckling infant. Oxytocin contract the smooth muscle of the uterus and mammary glands. So uterine contraction stimulated by oxytocin at the end of pregnancy help in childbirth. So it also causes uterine contractions. That is why it is also called as birth hormone. And gestation hormone or pregnancy hormone is progesterone. So prolactin or lactogenic hormone or leukotropic hormone is secreted by anterior pituitary, which help in growth of mammary gland during pregnancy and initiates the secretion of milk after childbirth. So option A, where assertion is true and reason is the correct answer. Assertion: a tumor of adrenal cortex may cause Addison's disease. Reason: this happens due to oversecretion of cortisol by the tumor. So destruction of adrenal cortex by disease like tuberculosis produces Addison's disease. This is due to deficiency of glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids, which is aldosterone by adrenal cortex secretion. The region of zona fasciculata and zona glomerulosa respectively. So, symptoms of Addison's disease include bronze like pigmentation, on the skin, low blood sugar, low plasma sodium, high potassium in the plasma, increased urinary excretion of sodium ion, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. So, cortisol is a glucocorticoid which regulates metabolism of carbohydrate, fats, and protein. A tumor in adrenal cortex may secrete too much of cortisol to produce Cushing's syndrome. High blood sugar, appearance of sugar in urine, obesity, wasting of limb muscles, presence or rise in blood sodium, fall in potassium, rise in blood volume, and high blood pressure are observed in patients suffering from Cushing syndrome, which is due to hypersecretion of ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. So all these symptoms are reversed in Cushing syndrome, and deficiency causes Addison's disease. Assertion: coprophagy is the characteristics of mammal. Reason: coprophagy is found in all mammals. So coprophagy is found in certain mammals. Example, it is seen in rabbits. This is the process by which many rodents like rat form a special kind of feces from the content of the cecum, and these are re-ingested so that the food passes through digestive system the second time or twice. Rabbit is coprophagous in habit, eating its own feces in order to get maximum amount of nutrients from its food. Feces produced during night alone are eaten up, which are soft, moist due to incompletely digested cellulose, thus passing through the gut once more. The feces are subjected once again to digestion and absorption. So coprophagy is characteristics of mammal, which is true. Coprophagy is found in all mammals is not true. It is found in some mammals like rabbit. Assertion: mitochondria and chloroplast are semi-autonomous organelle. Reason, they are found by division of pre-existing organelle as well as contain DNA but lack protein synthesizing machinery. So mitochondria and chloroplast both are double membrane structure. So there is inner membrane and outer membrane structure. So in mitochondria, the outer membrane and the inner membrane is folded into enfoldings, which is known as cristae. These are semi-autonomous as well as both the structure and function are partially controlled by nucleus of the cell. So that's why they are semi-autonomous and partially by themselves and partially controlled by nucleus. Both possesses their own DNA and arises from pre-existing cells. Synthesis of many amino acids in the mitochondria. The first formed amino acid are glutamic acid and aspartic acid. Also, plastid manufacturers some of its own protein, enzyme and chemicals because of presence of 70S type of ribosomes, which can help translate the coded information contained in mRNA transcribed over chloroplast DNA. So DNA replication is the process of forming carbon copy of DNA, whereas transcription is formation of RNA over DNA template. So C will be the correct answer. Assertion: ball and socket joint are the most mobile joint. Reason: synovial fluid is present here. So synovial fluid is thick, sticky fluid of egg white consistency secreted by synovial membrane itself into synovial cavity. Though the presence of synovial fluid is one of the reasons behind the mobility of the joint, but the most accurate reason is the arrangement of the bone at the joint. The spherical ball-like structure end of one bone articulate with cup-shaped like structure depression in another. This allows the bone with the ball head to move freely in many places. Shoulder joint and hip joint are ball and socket type of joints. In shoulder joint, the mobility is 360 degree, whereas in hip joint it is 180 degree. So the assertion is true and reason is also true, but not the correct reason for the assertion. So B is the correct answer. Assertion: stamens are comparable to microsporophylls. Reason: ovules are comparable to megasporophylls. So stamens are specialized microsporophylls. Each stamen is made up of stalk or filament, and a knob-like border tip called anther. The place where stalk is attached to anther is known as connective. Anther develops four microsporangia or pollen grain. In microsporangium or pollen sac, carpels are specialized megasporophylls. Each carpel has a swollen base which is named as ovary. The inferior of the ovary contains one or more placenta which bears ovules. There is a long style above which it bears sticky substance known as stigma. This stigma bears the pollen grain which are brought by pollination, maybe air, wind, insect, bird, or bat, onto the stigma. Stigma is receptive and forms the pollen tube which takes the pollen grain to the ovary and binds to the ovules. So assertion is true, reason is true, but it is not the correct reason for assertion. So B is the correct answer. Assertion: cutaneous gland help in regulation of body temperature. Reason: cutaneous glands are produced from stratum germinatum. Sweat glands produced from stratum germinativum plays an important role in regulation of body temperature. Though the main center for control of body temperature is present in hypothalamus, when the body temperature rises too much, the sweat glands are stimulated to take up water from blood vessels to pour this secretion on the general surface of the skin. Evaporation of sweat from the body surface uses up latent heat of vaporization from the skin. Thus, the extra heat of the body is used up and the body cools down, reducing the body temperature. So, assertion is true. The cutaneous gland help in regulation of body temperature. Reason: cutaneous glands are produced by stratum germinativum is not the correct explanation of the assertion. So option B is the correct answer. Assertion: some areas of the brain and the spinal cord look white. Reason: this is because cell bodies of neuron are situated in those areas. So the brain and spinal cord, these consist of CNS, that is central nervous system. These area of the CNS where the cell body of the neurons are situated look grey and constitute grey matter. The neuron consists of cell body or cyton, these are dendrites, and axon. Axon with myelin sheath forms white matter. other area look white and constitute the white matter of the CNS. From pons, the outside is white and inner is gray. The white matter consists of only nerve fiber crossing from or to the nerve cell in the gray matter. It look white due to presence of myelin around the myelinated fiber. So in most part of the brain, the gray matter containing the nerve cell is situated on the surface, while white matter of the fiber is deep inside the brain. But in spinal cord, pons and medulla oblongata, the gray matter is internal and the white matter is outside. So some areas of the brain and spinal cord looks white, which is true. This is because of cell body of the neuron situated in those areas, which is false, because it is because of myelin sheath that they are white and cell bodies make them appear gray. Assertion: DNA synthesis occur in G1 and G2 periods of the cell cycle. Reason: during G1 and G2 phase of DNA, content becomes double. So the synthesis of DNA occur in a restricted portion of the interphase during S period, which is the synthesis period, which is preceded and followed by two gap period of interphase, which is G1 and G2, in which there is no DNA synthesis. G1 is the period between end of mitosis and the start of DNA synthesis. S is the period of DNA synthesis. Your DNA contents become double. G2 is the interval between end of DNA synthesis and the start of mitosis. During G2, a cell contains 2 times the amount of DNA, that is 4C, present in the original diploid cell, which was 2C. Following the mitosis of the daughter cell, again enter the G1 period and have a DNA content equivalent to 2C. Assertion: interphase is the resting stage. Reason: the interphase cell is metabolically inactive. Previously, interphase is called as resting stage of a cell because there is no activity related to cell division. The interface of cell is metabolically quite active. So, interface consists of 3 subphases which include G1, G2 and S phase. Synthesis of DNA occur in S phase, where the content of the DNA becomes double from 2C to 4C. G1 is the period between the end of mitosis and the start of S phase. and G2 is the interval between S phase and the start of mitosis. As the synthesis of DNA occur in S phase, it is considered as metabolically active phase. So interphase is resting is true. Interphase is metabolically inactive is false. Assertion: the mesocarp of drupe is edible in all cases. Reason: coconut is a fibrous drupe. So the pericarp of drupe is differentiated into epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. Endocarp is stony and hard. Hence, drupe are also known as stony fruits. Coconut called fibrous drupe due to fibrous mesocarp. Possess edible endocarp. So endocarp is edible. Among drupes, mango has edible mesocarp. Cherry, peach, plum, and ziziphus has edible epicarp as well as mesocarp. So it is seen in cherry, plum, ziziphus, and peach. So mesocarp is edible in all cases is not true, and coconut is fibrous drupe, which is true. So option E is the correct answer. How many reduction division are necessary for the formation of 200 grains of wheat? A 250, B 150, C 200, D 360. So for the formation of 100 grains of wheat, 100 pollen grains and 100 megaspores, which is the female cells, are required. Each microspore mother cell produces 4 viable microspores, that is pollen grain. As a result of reduction division, hence formation of 100 pollen grain require 25 PMC are needed, that is parent microspore, and each will undergo one reduction division. So each megaspore mother cell will produce 4 megaspore, in which one become functional and the other 3 degenerate. Thus each megaspore mother cell produces 1 megaspore. Total number of 100 megaspore mother cell required to formation of 100 megaspore. Total number of reduction division that produces 100 grains are 100 plus 25, which is 125. So correct answer will be 125 divisions are required for formation of 100 grains. So for formation of 200 grains, multiply by 2, 250 grains will be required. So option A is the correct answer. Path of water in sponge is A. Dermal ostia to gastral ostia then osculum. B. Dermal ostia to gastral ostia, spongocele then osculum. C. Osculum then spongocele then coenocytes to ostia. D. Pinacocytes, coenocytes, enteron and osculum. So the course taken by water in sponge is known as canal system, and water from outside enter through dermal ostia to incurrent canals. Through incurrent canals, it passes through prosopiles into the radial canals, through the apopiles. It passes through spongocele, and through the osculum, which is the one large opening cavity. It passes outside the body cavity. So option B is the correct answer. The diagram will be, this is a sponge in which there are minute opening. These are known as ostia, through which water enters, and it passes through various canals and comes out through a large opening, which is osculum. Fishes having swim bladder which do not direct communication with the exterior, and where reabsorbent and secretory part is not sharply separated from one another, are called A. Physostomes, B. Physoclids, D. Euphysoclids, D. Paraphysoclids. So there are two types of air bladder which are known. In more generalized group of telocysts, the air bladder retain connection with the gut via a pneumatic duct. Just as in ganoids and dipnoi. Such an open air bladder is called as physostomus. In the telocyst erythrinus, the air bladder has lateral attachment to the gut. Such closed or ductless bladder is known as assertion. Ginger has prostrate growing rhizome. Reason: shoot growth is not affected by gravity. See, ginger is horizontal in position. So, and generally branched, producing aerial leaves or shoots above ground, and adventitious roots are also grown on lower side in favorable seasons. Thus, shoot growth is not affected by gravity. So, ginger has a prostate growing rhizome, which is true. Then, another type of rhizome is vertically growing rhizome. And shoot growth is not affected by gravity, which is also true, but is not the reason for the assertion. So, option B is the correct answer. Miracidium larvae occur in life history of A. roundworm, B. liver fluke, C. earthworm, D. tapeworm. So, Miracidium larva is associated with life history of liver fluke, which is infective stage of secondary host. Different larval stages of liver fluke are found in following sequence according to the development, which are Miracidium, which grows to form sporocyst. Further, this sporocyst form rhedia, which further form cercaria and metacercaria. So these are the sequence of growth or development of liver fluke. The liver fluke life is digenetic, and primary host is sheep, secondary host is snail. So option B is the correct answer. In which of the following organism self-fertilization is seen? A. Fish, B. Roundworm, C. Earthworm, D. Liver fluke. Self-fertilization is fusion of male gamete and female gamete, that is sex cells produced by same individual. So two partners are not required. Self-fertilization occur in bisexual organisms or hermaphrodites, including most of the flowering plant, numerous protozoans, and many invertebrates. So the lower group are mostly bisexual. Flukes are hermaphrodite, which have both male and female structures, meaning each worm has both ovaries as well as testes. Probably cross fertilization is the rule, but self fertilization is certainly a possibility. In any case, it means that every individual is capable of producing fertilized egg, and certainly an advantage is producing species which has high productive output is required. So it is mostly seen in liver fluke. Assertion: deformation is the characteristics of mollusca. Reason: detorsion is an arrested stage of torsion. So torsion, which is also known as twisting, is a process during which larval development of gastropods which rotate the visceropallium in anti-clockwise direction brought about 180 from its initial position, so that mantle cavity with its pallial complex is through in front of the adult body. Changes occurring in torsion are to certain extent reversible. This reversion is known as detorsion, and it is very characteristics of the whole group of euthynuria. Formerly, this condition was looked upon as arrested stage in torsion. But there is the same reduction of the paired parts of the pallial complex as in specialized streptonuria. Total detorsion, as shown by typical opisthobrachia, is accompanied by reduction of disappearance of the shell. So it is seen in opisthobrachia, reduction in the cell. So torsion is the characteristics of mollusca is true. Detorsion is an arrested stage of torsion, which is also true, but is not the correct reason. Assertion: characteristics of cyclostomes show an advance over Amphioxus. Reason: cyclostomes have some degenerated characteristics. Following are the characteristics of cyclostomes showing an advance over Amphioxus. A distinct head, however, may be secondary, so-called cranium. A more advanced brain, pro and mesonephric kidneys, secondary notochord, vertebrae introduced seen in lamprey. So cyclostomes have some particular specialization, like tongue apparatus, sucking mouth, with horny teeth, scale like gill pouches, separate branchial sac with branchial basket. The degenerated characters of cyclostomes are tongue apparatus, rudimentary paired eyes, which is seen in hagfish, lack of exoskeleton, reduced liver and lack of gallbladder and bile duct in adult lamprey. So assertion is true, but it is not, reason is not the correct reason. So B is the correct answer. Assertion: bats and whales are classified as mammals. Reason: bat and whales have four-chamber heart. Bat and whales are members of the class Mammalia. Mammals or mamma means breast in Latin. The bats are the only mammals which have wings, can fly, while whales are the largest animal in existence. So both bat and whales have four-chambered heart, but birds and crocodiles also have four-chambered heart. So having a four-chamber heart is not the characteristics of mammals. Mammals are classified into another group as they feed the young ones through breast. That's why they are called mammals. Four-chamber heart can also be seen in aves and in some reptiles like crocodile, which has four-chamber heart. So assertion is true. Reason is not the correct reason for assertion.